It is a Thursday night massacre, folks. Donald Trump is engaging in mass firings of his military leaders on Thursday. First, we heard about the termination by Pete Hegseth of the Army Chief of Staff General Randy George, who was forced into retirement. He was fired. He was the 41st Chief of Staff of the United States Army, fired during Donald Trump's catastrophic war in Iran. We're also hearing in a report from the Washington Post that in addition to Randy George, General David Honey, a former Army Ranger who leads the Services Transformation and Training Command, fired. Also Major General William Green Jr., head of the Army's Chaplain Corps. Honey's command was created under George's watch, while Hegseth sought recently to overhaul how military chaplains operate. In all, Hegseth is ousting over 12 senior military officials. This brings the total count, as John Ball writes, of purged senior military officials by Pete Hegseth to over a dozen. And by the way, as Jennifer Griffin, the national security correspondent from Fox, points out, the most recent firings adds to this long list of Secretary Hegseth firing our top military generals. I mean, you take a look here, Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Charles Q. Brown, Defense Intelligence Agency Director, Lieutenant General Jeffrey Cruz, Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield, Director of National Security Agency and U.S. Cyber Command, General Timothy D. Howe, Air Force Vice Chief of Staff, James C. Jim Slife, Lieutenant General Jennifer Short, Head of the Navy Reserve, Vice Admiral Nancy LeCour, Head of Navy Special Warfare Command, the Judge Advocate General, Air Force Lieutenant General Charles Plummer, Alvin Hosley, Commander of U.S. Southern Command, Director of the Joint Staff, Lieutenant General Sims, was passed over for the 4th star, which he had earned, and was forced to retire. The Coast Guard Commandant Admiral Linda Fagan, and the list goes on and on and on. The top of the top people, either before or during this war, being fired by the Trump regime. And as this catastrophic war in Iran rages on, as these mass terminations, this Thursday night massacre taking place, U.S. intelligence is assessing that Iran still maintains significant missile launching capability, including roughly half of its cruise and ballistic launchers, as well as thousands and thousands of one-way attack drones, despite the daily strikes by the United States and Israel at military targets across Iran for the last 5 weeks. This is from the latest CNN report. And even before the CNN report, it's exactly what we've been telling you at the MeidasTouch network. We've been saying Iran has thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of Shahed drones, FPV drones for those drone swarms, and ballistic missile capabilities have still not been severely degraded. Maybe 1/3 of the ballistic missile and launchers have been degraded, but I always thought there was like 2/3 of those ballistic missiles that could be accessed along with their launchers. Now, we're also learning from the New York Times one of the reason for General George's firing. In part, Hegseth for months was pressing General George and Army Secretary Dan Driscoll to remove 4 officers, 2 black officers, 2 female officers from a promotions list. George and Driscoll refused to follow that order, citing the fact that these officers have long and exemplary service, and you can't demote these individuals because they're black and because they are female. They deserve a promotion. And apparently, according to the Times, that's one of the reasons they were fired, because it was viewed as insubordination. And during this catastrophic war in Iran, you have Donald Trump and Hegseth utterly paranoid. And of course, in keeping with their past disgusting practices, this is how they behave. Now, as Donald Trump is engaged in this Thursday night massacre, firing his top military leaders, We also reported earlier how Pam Bondi was fired, Donald Trump's attorney general. We also believe that there will be much more firings to come in Donald Trump's cabinet. Perhaps Howard Lutnick, perhaps Kash Patel, and others. Stay tuned there. But with all of this taking place, Donald Trump is now officially proposing a $1.5 trillion defense budget for the next fiscal year. As Bloomberg writes, Trump will frame the Republican Party's midterm message around massive defense buildup, spending money on war, and cutting healthcare, quote unquote, entitlements and other domestic agencies and priorities. That's going to be their focus right now. Donald Trump called into Time magazine, and on the topic of Iran, Donald Trump said, "Why won't Iran call? Why wouldn't they call me? We just blew up their 3 big bridges." Trump also said, Iran, say that Trump is not negotiating. I mean, it's sort of an easy negotiation, don't you think? Donald Trump, of course, earlier today posted his war crimes. He posted a video destroying a bridge in Iran, one of the largest bridges in Iran. And Donald Trump wrote, "The biggest bridge in Iran comes tumbling down, never to be used again. Much more to follow. It's time for Iran to make a deal before it's too late. And there is nothing left of what still could become a great country." President Donald J. Trump, to which Iranian social media accounts responded by writing, Trump directly admits to targeting civilian positions, international organizations, governments. Hasn't the time come to act against this brutality? Also, you have the Iranian foreign minister, Araghchi, post a photo of the destroyed bridge in question and writes, "Striking civilian structures, including unfinished bridges, will not compel Iranians to surrender. It only conveys the defeat and moral collapse of an enemy in disarray. Every bridge and building will be built back stronger. What will never recover, damage to America's standing." In addition, Iranian social media accounts were showing photos of the Strait of Hormuz filled with American flag draped caskets with the text, "If you don't mind, now it's the time." The only American thing that can pass through the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf is American flag draped caskets. Donald Trump's response was posting on social media a photo of Davy Crockett and writing, "Davy Crockett, obviously a distant relative of Jasmine Crockett and a very high IQ frontiersman, would be proud of the legacy that he began long ago, and especially Jasmine Crockett's great success as a politician from the great state of Texas. President Donald J. Trump, utterly, utterly deranged." A spokesperson for Iran's Armed Forces General Staff posted the following message, or sent the following message to the Fars regime media news entity. "We are waiting for the start of a U.S. ground operation because we will deliver them a lesson they will never forget, so that they would never again intend to attack even the weakest country in the world." In addition, Iranian Armed Forces spokesperson says Iran is waiting and we will teach them a lesson never to invade our country again. Should also be noted that the Gulf countries, the GCC Secretary General, the Council wishes to establish normal relations with Iran and resolve all security issues transparently. In other words, the Gulf countries, the GCC, allied with the United States, seem to be moving away to focus on direct negotiations with Iran for access to the Strait of Hormuz, and also in order to get Iran to stop retaliating against the U.S. by launching ballistic missiles and Shahed drones at the various kind of economic areas and other infrastructure in those Arab nations. The bridge that Donald Trump destroyed, one of them, it's the B1 bridge in the northern Iranian city of Karaj, which is one of the tallest bridges in all of the Middle East. It wasn't fully operational, but the Trump regime destroyed it anyway. You have Iran's deputy foreign minister, Kazem Garibabdi, saying Iran will soon set transfer fees for ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran is now working with Oman to set these fees to collect tolls. And they've said, let's be very clear, the U.S. and Israel and their allies will never get to use the Strait of Hormuz. Also, the Islamic Republic News Agency posted a photo because Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth have been saying, we're going to bomb Iran into the Stone Age. The Iranian social media accounts have posted, well, this map shows Iran in the Stone Age. Do you insist on reviving it? And during the Stone Age, Iran's reach and their empire was the entire Middle East region, is what they're saying, and more. So you want us to have all the Middle East and Africa? Okay, if that is what you want. In addition, Iran's foreign minister Araghchi posts the following. There's one striking difference between the present and the Stone Age. There was no oil or gas being pumped into the Middle East back then. Are POTUS and Americans who put him in office sure that they want to turn back the clock? You have statements like that also from the Iran Armed Forces headquarters. Their main spokesperson says, your intel on our military power is incomplete. You know nothing about our vast strategic capabilities. The sites that you think you are hit are of little import to us. Our key military production centers are beyond your reach. And then earlier in the day, French President Emmanuel Macron was calling out Trump, saying, we must be serious. And when we are serious, we do not say the opposite of what we said the day before. Perhaps we should not speak every day. We should simply calm things down and build a lasting peace. Macron also said, 6 months ago, we were told everything had been destroyed and settled by the United States. Clearly, that was not the case. Without international inspectors verifying materials, research, and hidden sites, it is simply not serious. Finally, French President Macron said the following on the Strait of Hormuz. Opening it by force is not the option we have chosen. We consider it unrealistic. A military operation to reopen it would take an infinite amount of time and expose forces to immense coastal and ballistic risks. From the beginning, we have said it must be reopened, but only in coordination with Iran. The world cannot live with a strait that can be opened or closed overnight. Obviously, discussing the possibility for bilateral negotiations, which are probably already going on between France and Iran. That's your update right now. Donald Trump having this Thursday night massacre of the military generals, also his Attorney General Pam Bondi. Also, we expect many more cabinet members to be fired as well. Lutnick, Kash Patel is an FBI director, but we expect him to be fired too. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Hit subscribe, help us get to 7 million subscribers.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.